Hi guys, William Morris here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a library called Epic Percussion from the developer Splash Sound. So this is a library that they sent to me for review, and as I'm a massive fan of percussion in general, and especially Epic Percussion, I thought I'd check it out. So the library is designed for the full version of Kontakt, and it downloads at just over 4 gigabytes, so it's relatively compact as well. The current price on their website is $99, and I'll be providing a link in the description below if you want to check out it further. Okay guys, so let's jump straight in, and this is basically as it will turn up in Kontakt. The folders are structured like this, so they provide a separate folder which has some effects samples in WAV format. These are separate to the library completely, so they don't appear in this patch list below. They have MIDI loops, and also they have the samples folder, which is handily everything in open WAV format, which is really nice, so you can edit away and use them for your own purposes and stuff afterwards. But for now, we're just going to be looking in the instruments folder, and so there's 14 patches altogether, everything from low hits, taikos, sub hits, different snares, a war ensemble, and then high percussion, some piano hits, and various other percussion related things. So let's have a quick run through the UI, and then we'll get straight into some sounds. The UI has a really simple, clear layout. It's nice, everything's all on one page, which is good. There's no menus to dive through, there's no extra sections to have to look at. And I think they've made pretty good use of the space as well. So starting top left, these are the mic position controls. So you have close, overhead, room, and hall. And obviously you can turn these up and down as you want on the mixer. You can go from -24 to +12 dB. Create your own custom mixes of the mic positions. It would have maybe been nice here to have an option to unload some of the mic positions from RAM, just to save on memory a little bit. The next section here is just a simple 3-band EQ. You can turn on and off, and then obviously you have a low frequency, mid frequency, high frequency gain bands here. Below there's a compressor, and finally on the end we have a reverb send. In the bottom section is a kind of layout of where the samples are and what they are. So from what I've seen, most of the main samples seem to be on the left hand in the lower register. So for example, on this low hits one we have soft, mid and hard hits, and then up on the right hand in the red there's some flams and rough as well. Finally, in the middle, there's one big central control that controls the epicness, which I'm not actually sure what it does. It definitely makes things louder. I think it's along the same lines of the heaviosity stuff, where it's kind of a saturator and slight distorter maybe. And this can be rolled from less all the way to more, and you get a little animation to show you what's happening as well. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the UI. As I said, really nice and simple, and lovely to see everything on one page. So now let's dive into some of the sounds, and as we're on low hits, let's just start there and have a listen. So that's the low hits. Let's move on to the taikos. The taikos have a few articulations, so we have soft, hard, rim, and sticks, and then up on the right hand side there's some loops. So let's move on to the Epic toms. And here's a few of the loops. And this one will probably be a good opportunity to show you the mic positions as well as the epicness dial. So we'll start with just the close sound, and I'm going to pull down the overheads, rooms in the hall. And let's just boost this a little bit. So that's a nice close sound there. Room. So really far back, that one. And hall. Even bigger again. So let's just reload this one back to default. And you can take a listen to the epicness dial. Okay, so let's move on to metal toms. Here's the concert toms. And some of the loops. Okay, so let's take a listen to the war ensemble. Let's take a listen to the snares. Next up is snare trio. This is the ethnic ensemble. This is hand percussion. So that's pretty much it, I think, for like the playable style percussion. I guess the more kind of traditional angle. And now we're on to, I think this is sort of more one-shot kind of stuff, obviously less repetitive. So we've got sub-hits. This one is balanced into hit and a tonal element. So the tonal element, I think, is going to map to whatever key you have down here, because it's kind of over an octave there. So let's take a listen. So you've got a sort of big subby hit and then a kind of almost like low brassy type tonal element to it. But obviously if you want to remove it, you can just take out the tonal and leave the sub. So the next one, piano hits, I think is a similar sort of idea. Again, sub hit, a room hit, and then the piano note itself. So if I just take out the sub part, it's without the rooms. Oh, that's kind of cool, I like that. And now let's take a listen to the cymbals. So you're into kind of the high percussion territory here. So these are actually surprisingly light. They're quite sort of delicate cymbal things. I was expecting maybe more big crash and splash things. There was a few in there. Trying to find one. Like these. Big kind of crash sort of things. Yeah, the rest are sort of reasonably delicate. And so last but not least, we have a high percussion category. And this is broken down into hats, shakers, tambourine, and sticks. And then again, we've got some loops on the end. Okay guys, so that's the last patch. So I think to sum up, I guess I'm pretty impressed really for, especially for the price. I mean, $99 and you get 14 patches plus the MIDI loop stuff and also the extra effects samples and also the ability to dive into the WAV samples on your own as well. And I'd say the 14 patches on offer cover a pretty wide range of orchestral and epic percussion. Sound-wise, for me, a lot of these are actually sort of more towards the natural and raw sort of side than epic, but I think sometimes it's quite nice, especially for people that like to add their own processing and kind of make them their own. You've got the raw sort of building blocks to go there. But I'd say maybe as a out-of-the-box epic library, you're probably going to want to do some additional processing or layering as well. I'm writing a lot of trailer stuff at the moment, and I think I would definitely use this in a layered situation and do additional processing with it. But there are perhaps other libraries for out-of-the-box epic that would get you to that sort of standpoint quicker. Although with that, a lot of that sound tends to be baked in. So going back to that thing about it's nice to be able to mold it yourself with less processed samples. Okay guys, that wraps it up from me. Any questions you have, just leave them in the comments, or obviously you can head over to the Splashdown website, which I'll leave in the description, if you've got any sort of further questions for those guys as well.